Hello and welcome back to Shulchan HaRav. We continue in Hilchos Kriyas Shema Siman Samech Aleph. We pick it up with Sif Gimel. The Kriyas Shema Yesh Reish Mem Hey Tevis. There are 245 words. V'chasu Gimel Tevis LaHashem Reish Mem Ches, and that's three short of the number of 248, which is Keneged Evav Shel Adam, which is the number of limbs in a human, a male. Shekol HaKoirei Kriya Shema Ketikuna, anyone who reads Shema properly, call Aver Neutl Teva Achas Misrapiba. Each word is attributed to a certain limb in the person's body, and that limb will be healed from that word. So there's a correspondence to each word. Lachain, therefore, Neigin Shashatz Chayzer Va'omer Hashem Elokechem Emes B'Kol Ram. That's the reason for the midig why the Shliach Tzibor goes back and repeats the last two words of Shema and the first word of the next section, Hashem Elokechem Emes. He says that out loud, those three words. Ubazeh Kol Adam Yotzei. Everyone is included in those three words because he's saying it out loud and they're listening. Hoyel B'Shayim Mipiv Shashatz. They're hearing it from the Shliach Tzibor. Gimel Tevis Elu. Those three words, and that makes up for the three missing words in the cheshbon, in the calculation of 248. You have these extra. It's only 245. In the Shema words, plus these three makes it 248. When you're in the minyan and you're saying Shema to yourself quietly, you also say those last words by yourself, and then you wait for the Shliach Tzibor. Then you begin the next section of the Yatziv. You don't say emes again when you start Yatziv, because you already said emes. Shekol omer emes, because if you say emes twice in a row, will he hefsek teva acheres bein time without a separation of a different word in between? Ki Shema, it's like saying Shema shtikin oisei im lo yisha klal bein time, which we tell a person who does that to stop doing that if they don't have any separation in between, and that will be explained later on. But even if you wait a little bit, even if you pause in time, ideally you should not be saying emes without a separate word in between. If everybody if any yechidim, if any individuals in the minyan want to repeat with the Shliach Tzibor Hashem Elokechem Emes, saying all three words, Ein Isser B'Davar, there's nothing wrong with that. Because you are interrupting between the two emeses with those two other words, Hashem Elokechem. But that is not the minig. The minig is to wait and just pick it up at the Yatziv. Then there's also a minig that the Shliach Tzibor doesn't, when he's saying it to himself, does not say emes. She'im yomer b'lachash emes, because if he says in his private Shema emes, v'chayzer v'omer emes b'kol ram, and then he says emes again when he says it out loud, that ends up being 249 words. Then the minig, in the prevalent minig, I think, is that most shaliach tzibur say emes even when they're saying it by themselves, to themselves, quietly before they say it out loud. Because you don't want to separate between the words Hashem Elokechem and emes. The emes hasheni, the second emes that he says out loud, ain't in a minyan. It's really not part of the cheshbon of 248. It doesn't make it 249. It's really just part of the nusach of the bracha of emes v'yatziv, which follows right away after Shema. Have a great day, and don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube.